Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something that literally drives every single one of us, and that is the relentless pursuit of happiness. I mean, think about it. Every ambition you chase, every relationship you nurture, every big achievement you strive for, even the stuff you buy, ultimately, you go after all of it because deep down you believe it's going to make you happier, right? But as we're going to see today, the way we actually go about this pursuit, well, it often leads us into some incredibly common and honestly pretty fascinating traps.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because while we all fundamentally want happiness, we often fall into this massive trap. Are we mistaking the means of happiness for happiness itself? We spend our entire lives chasing certain things, completely confusing the vehicle for the actual destination.
Which brings us to part 1, the great confusion, mistaking the means for the end.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. Look, society naturally conditions us from a super young age to chase external things, right? We want money for security, pleasure for excitement, power for influence, maybe fame for recognition. And hey, those aren't inherently wrong, but they are purely external conditions. They provide the opportunity for happiness, sure, but true happiness, that's an entirely internal experience. It's made up of positive emotions, inner well-being, and genuine psychological flourishing.
So let's look at how the science actually defines it. Happiness is a state of mind characterized by positive emotions, inner well-being, and psychological flourishing. Notice what's missing there? It's not something you can just stockpile in a bank account. It's an active, living state of mind. The essence of it is entirely about what you experience, not what you possess.
All right, let's move into part 2, the biological foundation, the 4 pillars of happiness.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how, if we look under the hood at our biological mechanics, our internal world maps out perfectly into 4 fundamental experiences, and each one is tied to a specific neurochemical. We've got enjoyment driven by dopamine, satisfaction by serotonin, love by oxytocin, and relief from endorphins. These act as the absolute foundational pillars for all human well-being. So let's break these pillars down one by one.
First up, Pillar 1, enjoyment. This is the pure joy of being fully engaged in the present moment. It comes from meaningful work, creativity, play, learning new things, or even just soaking in a beautiful view or a great song. And this state is deeply tied to the brain's dopamine reward system. Now, dopamine is what motivates our exploration, our curiosity, and our anticipation. It's the chemical that makes life feel vibrant. And yeah, sure, it's also the exact same chemical making you doom scroll on your phone at 2 a.m. But when it's engaged correctly, it quite literally energizes the journey of life.
Next is Pillar 2, satisfaction. Now, while dopamine is all about that buzzing, excitement, satisfaction is the quiet fulfillment that follows effort, perseverance, and achievement. It's that deep, relaxing sigh of contentment you get right after finishing a tough project, overcoming a hurdle, or really realizing your own potential. This feeling is closely associated with serotonin. Serotonin is all about contentment. It contributes to your emotional stability, your confidence, and really, your long-term psychological well-being.
Let's put those two side by side for a second to really get a feel for the dynamic. Dopamine provides the excitement of the journey. Serotonin provides the fulfillment of the destination. You absolutely need both. You need that vibrant, curious energy to get out there and explore the world, and you need the quiet, stable contentment of having worked hard and actually achieved a meaningful goal. One drives you forward, and the other allows you to rest and feel whole.
Then we reach Pillar 3, love. And the research is incredibly clear on this one. Love is the deepest source of human happiness. I mean, we are profoundly social creatures, right? Our flourishing absolutely depends on meaningful relationships. We express this through trust, compassion, friendship, intimacy, and a sense of community. Biologically speaking, this is driven by oxytocin, which you've probably heard called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin strengthens our empathy, our generosity, and our baseline emotional security.
And the really great news here is just how incredibly accessible this is. You can boost oxytocin naturally through super simple, everyday actions. Physical affection and hugging, nurturing caring relationships, maintaining social connections, exercising, and just spending quality time with loved ones. And yes, for sure, that absolutely includes time with your pets. These deep relationships do way more than just give us the warm fuzzies. They actually physically reduce stress and drastically increase our resilience against whatever life throws at us.
Finally, we have Pillar 4, relief from suffering. Because happiness isn't just about piling on pleasure, right? It is equally about the absence, or at least a reduction, of unnecessary physical and psychological pain. And the body supports this through endorphins.
These are our natural, built-in painkillers. Endorphins are crucial because they reduce pain, elevate our mood, and help restore our internal balance during times of really intense stress or physical exertion.
You can stimulate the release of endorphins naturally by doing things like exercising, genuine belly laughing, listening to music, dancing, meditating, really any form of joyful engagement. When you're bent over laughing with a friend, or you just completely lose yourself to a great song, you are literally triggering a chemical cascade in your brain. And that cascade restores your biological equilibrium and just washes away the stress.
So the crucial point is captured beautifully in this quote from the text. It says, these neurochemical systems do not create happiness by themselves, but they provide the biological foundation through which these human experiences are lived. The biology merely enables the experience. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, they're the canvas and the paint, but you are the artist. And realizing this, well, it kind of forces us to step back and completely reconsider those outward pursuits we talked about right at the beginning.
Let's move to part 3 and see how this builds. Rethinking external success, realigning our pursuits.
Because happiness is an internally generated experience, seeking external success isn't actually a mistake. It just needs the right perspective. We just need to reframe how we value these things. So, money becomes incredibly valuable, not as an end goal, but when it provides security, freedom, and opportunities for a meaningful life. Pleasure is valuable when it deepens our enjoyment of the present moment, as long as it doesn't tip over into addiction. Power is highly valuable when it enables responsibility and service, rather than just dominating others. And fame? Fame is valuable when it represents recognition that's been earned through genuine contribution to society, not just as some empty vanity project. External achievements become truly worthwhile only when we use them as tools to nourish those 4 deeper biological dimensions of the human experience.
Which leads us perfectly into part 4, experiencing over possessing, cultivating the inner life. You see, the core mystique of the human condition isn't seeking money or status. It's believing that those things are happiness itself. Without enjoyment, without satisfaction, love, and peace, unlimited wealth basically means nothing. So I want to leave you with a really profound thought from our source material. To have is useful. To live is essential. To have is useful. To live is essential. Happiness doesn't belong to those who possess the most. It belongs to those who experience life most deeply, those who love most generously, those who find true fulfillment in meaningful striving, and those who actively cultivate freedom from suffering.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final direct challenge to reflect on today. Take a good look at your daily pursuits, your calendar, your goals. Ask yourself, are you building a life to possess, or are you building a life to experience? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the biology of well-being. Keep learning, keep experiencing, and I'll see you next time.